On today's downloadable content, with all these shiny graphics, advanced gameplay, intricate control schemes, and the advent of more and more multiplayer experiences, what do we make of the resurgence of two-dimensional gaming? Do you think it helps the video game industry, or is this retro movement completely superfluous? Also, with 2010 now gone, we'll also have a look at an annual feature, Nintendo Power, their annual Game of the Year awards. What Nintendo games shined above the rest in the year that was? We'll all be making predictions, all this in our inaugural episode of Downloadable Content. Greetings, salutations, friends, Romans, countrymen. Welcome to episode 1 of downloadable content, which hopefully will be recurring. Hopefully we'll have many of these. In the meantime, we have at least one, or we will have at least one. I'm joined by 3 fun-loving people. We have Ron.
Afternoon, folks.
And we have Peter.
Hi.
And Erica.
Hello.
All crazy gamers, one and all. The best kind, really.
Depending on your perspective of what's good or crazy.
Yes, sometimes, does depend on your definition of crazy. There's good crazy, and then there's bad crazy. Different degrees of crazy. Well, this podcast is, not like the ones you usually hear. Oh, I'm Brian, by the way, if I didn't mention.
Oh, I was just going to refer to you as the disembodied voice. You spoiled my fun.
Oh, people respond well to authoritative, disembodied voices.
All hail the voice!
But no, this is not a contest, a character battle contest podcast. That won't happen until this summer with Character Battle 13. I have decided on the theme, by the way. But that's a later show. Keep you all in suspense.
Damn you.
On you cliffhangers.
Yeah, well, if Doctor Who could be doing it for 50 years, I think I can do it.
Oh, Doctor Who. You and your teleporting, time-traveling phone booth.
Nifty idea.
Police box.
Yes, the police box. What fun. But the way this show is going to work is we're going to talk about issues relevant to the video game industry at large. Now, there's a lot more to the industry than just video game reviews, game conventions, and the general geekery that accompanies all of this. There's also, layers beneath, things that might not, be mentioned or talked about a lot, getting more into the metaphysical points of the gaming industry.
A lot of things that people just don't see because it's never discussed.
That too. But, there are things out there in the video game industry that do affect, the population at large, at least the gaming population. And, some people are content to just, play video games and but there are also, other things lying beneath that are of interest to me. And so, I like to talk about them. And so, we will begin with our very first subject of conversation. As I mentioned in the beginning, as I mentioned in the intro, with all of today's technology, with our current generation of video games. What are we on? 7, 8?
7.
7, I think.
And, what we're currently... you have all these shiny graphics, systems that, boast great, processing speeds, graphical displays, internet capabilities.
You had the PS3 for a time that was networked together to help research cures for cancer.
PS3s are also used for protein folding. So does the U.S. military also use them for ballistics testing.
I mean, you have systems like that, so many leaps and bounds beyond what we grew up with. In the days of the Atari, the even going up to the NES. When graphics, if you wanted to play a good game, you had, the fun was in the experience, because, it wasn't ooh shiny. You didn't have ooh shiny.
Back in my day, we had 8 bits and we were happy.
We loved our square blocks, and we loved it when we blew them up into smaller square boxes.
Thank you, Cranky Kong.
Well played, sir.
Thank you, Cranky Kong. I'll just go to Candy's save point now, and yeah.
Would you like to save here?
Yeah. But with all of this, 2D gaming is starting to make a comeback. And from my own perspective, I like it. I really enjoy the fact that 2D is making a comeback. As far as I've seen, Nintendo seems to be leading the way. I think it kind of really started with New Super Mario Brothers. It was made for the DS and then got later remade for the Wii with additional capabilities. The New Super Mario Brothers game, again, it goes back to its old formula of 2D side scroller, and 25 years later, that formula still remains a fun, enjoyable way of gaming. Why?
Miyamoto is God?
Besides that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You have Nintendo making games like New Super Mario Brothers Wii, Donkey Kong Country Returns, which I'm currently playing.
How is that, by the way?
So far, so good. I feel like I'm 10 years old again.
See, that's why it's good, Brian. That's why if it can take you back to that particular feeling, then that's the hallmark of a good game. It's returning you to that place where it's cool to be a kid again. And we've lost that somewhere in translation, I think.
That's basically what Erica said. I mean, for people that are in the mid-20s, 30 years old, that age bracket, the revival of the 8-bit games, like your Super Marios, your Donkey Kongs, your Sonics, those harken back to when, for the person, like, they were innocent, like the world was still this big, bright place with all this possibility, and isn't this dark, dank, Fallout sort of ridden world that us adults see now.
There definitely is an appeal for the older audience because these are the games we grew up on.
I agree immensely. That is true. If you as Ron said, if you're in your mid-20s, your 30s, seeing these games being remade, and not just remade, with their old graphics. Well, unless the exception of that being the recent Mega Man for Virtual Console, which was released, it was 2D and still maintained the NES graphics.
I remember reading that you could turn on an NES slowness emulator just to get it to actually slow down like the original Mega Man would. When it was overloading the processor of the NES, you could have it slow down.
Oh, that's brilliant! That's brilliant.
And
just to keep the feel authentic.
Now you have these 2D games, but now they're being updated graphically.
Why not? You got the hardware.
That's true. They're being updated graphically, and I think, it's for us old farts. It's a nice, refreshing. As you said, it's a nice, refreshing throwback to the games we played as a kid. New Super Mario Brothers, for example, not only did they keep the 2D side-scrolling element intact, but I think they improved on the multiplayer. You can now play 4 players at once.
Yeah.
I don't know if you experienced that joy.
I don't know if you call
Chaos.
that joy.
It's chaos.
Yeah, because you always have one
It's
person.
pure chaos. I agree with
You
that.
always have one person. Since it's a shared pool of lives, you always had one person who would deliberately try to shank the other 3.
Or jump on top of you as you're near your bubble and drop you into the pit of death.
Yep.
Yes.
You always had one imp in your party. And, again, Donkey Kong Country Returns, again, looking, feels like the games of old, with some additional, trying to take advantage of the Wii hardware and the Wii controller. For example, you have to shake the Wiimote and the nunchuck up and down like drumsticks to bang on the ground, for example.
But the other thing, Brian, is it's not just strictly graphics that they're updating, physics as well. I got I guess they released it for the DS, but there was a game called N, and I think it came out on the DS as N+. And it's very simple graphically. I mean, it harkens back way back when characters were just made out of simple shapes. But it uses and obstacles and boards as well. And the object of the game is simply to move your little ninja around the board and avoid all the obstacles and collect all the gold, or as much of it as you can, before time runs out. And it's very, very simple graphically, but it is amazing in its physics. It actually uses Havoc physics, so that when you fall, if you can fall quite a ways before you get injured. But if you fall farther than you can do that without getting injured, when you hit the floor, you shatter.
Ooh.
And your limbs go everywhere.
Beautiful.
There's no blood, there's no guts, it's just you bounce across the room. And if you're in a room that has bombs in it, mines, your limbs will set those off, so you can be bouncing around the room for a good, 45 seconds before the level restarts. It's tremendous fun. Just to throw yourself off a cliff and watch the chaos that ensues.
Oh, my little lover of entropy.
World of Goo is another great example.
Oh, that game won awards.
Yeah, it's another great example.
I've heard talk about that because I haven't played it. I mean, it is available for a download, but yeah.
I've got the PC version via Steam, and I've been playing it.
Didn't you pay like $3 for it?
Less than that.
It's Steam. Everything's on sale at Steam.
Yeah.
Especially in the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I've got that, and I've been playing it, and it's very simple graphically. I mean, they're doing some neat tricks, but by and large, it's pretty simple. But it actually takes advantage of some of the neater things that they can do with physics engines now, and that's where the real challenge of the game is. So it's not just... So you get the harkening back to the simplicity of the 2D game, but in terms of it actually, there's less focus on shiny and more focus on actual gameplay. But they've done it in such a way, at least the good ones have, that it incorporates what was great about the old and have updated it wonderfully with the new. So I think that's a really, really good trend, and I would like to see that expand a little more into the 3D realm. Because as much as I want to be a 3D artist and an animator, I have to admit there's far too much shiny and not enough gameplay.
Even modern 2D still sometimes uses 3D models like you see in Sonic 4.
Or Trine. Trine is another good example of that.
That's very true. I was about to just get into Sonic 4, which was, for me, a long time coming.
I think the
been-
entire
Sonic
Sonic
Race,
community is like it's a long time coming.
Sonic should have never left 2D, as far as I'm concerned.
Ooh. With you on that one.
It should have never ever left the 2D plane, because Sonic, after that, just became the laughing stock. It was like, oh, Sega's putting out another Sonic game? uh, you know, and Sega was doing all sorts of weird things to the poor hedgehog. Let's give him a sword, let's give him a gun, let's turn him into a werewolf, let's make him into jam, let's bounce him
Not
off a
werewolf,
wall, let's crack him into an
werehog.
omelet. That's Sega was doing some horrible stuff to him, and the poor Sonic is just... Ugh. Then they announced Sonic 4, and I was like, yay! And I've played Sonic 4 Episode 1. There was a lot of hype leading up to Episode 1, and since it came out, not a peep on the second episode. But,
I had the sneaking suspicion that Sega was half expecting Sonic 4 to blow, just like every other Sonic game. Only this time it was actually successful, and they're like, wait, we have money now?
yeah.
What do we do with this? What is this stuff you call money?
But Sonic 4 is, from what I've beaten Episode 1, and it plays just like the old Sonic games, just with a graphical upgrade, and doesn't quite overload the processor the way it did for the Genesis, but I really, really enjoy it, and I hope that they continue with that trend.
It would make good business sense for them to at least try, because 2D games cost a lot less to create than 3D games.
That's very true. But now, and then also, upcoming, I actually have this game on reserve. The upcoming Mortal Kombat game is going back to 2D.
Do tell.
And, well, I've been playing Mortal Kombat since it came into existence. And that's another series that I felt should not have left the 2D realm. Because once it became 3D, with the exception of Mortal Kombat 4, once it got into 3D, then I think Midway just got a little crazy with it. I think it went overkill, because, now it's 3D. Now we can, make our characters, slice and dice each other and make julienne fries and...
I always think, like, the game industry itself, like, when that technology became around to go from 2D to 3D, like, I'm talking like probably the earliest thing I can think of would be the Virtual Boy, for those who still remember that.
Yes,
that red thing.
I didn't think we mentioned that in polite company.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but like, okay, I'll go to the first successful one, the Dreamcast. No, not the Dreamcast, the PlayStation itself.
First successful 3D product I can think of is Star Fox.
For the Super
That was
Nintendo.
still the SNES, though.
It was close.
Through 3D.
It was close. You also had Sega with Sonic 3D Blast for the Genesis.
Yeah, they were close, but like in terms of like the platforming, like the platforms itself, like your N64s and your PlayStations, like the game industry, like people were marveling at the fact that we were going to have realistic people now. Only we got pixelated polygons for another 5 years, and it's just like it's like the game industry just wanted to refine that first and kind of left the story and gameplay behind, I think.
I think that we've been seeing a trend towards more shiny and less story for a while. The story has started to come back now that we have better storytelling methods.
Yeah.
That's very true.
But I still think the gameplay has not improved. Not enough.
But, people in our age group, I think, by and large, are enjoying, the throwback to these retro games. Then, however, now you have the flip side of that, in which you have now the younger generation who have never seen 2D gaming. I mean, we were there, from the evolution of the 8 bits to now, and the younger generation, by and large, will never see those old systems. And now with these 2D games, now they're seeing 2D for the first time. So, you know, so the question is, with this 2D retro movement, does it help or hurt the industry?
I think it helps.
All right, elaborate.
2D games cost less to create, therefore you can have a lower price point to sell. That's a big part of business. Again, remember, game studios are businesses. This encourages that we can have more choice, more selection to pick from. And I think the younger generation will see some of these 2D games, and they may see some characters that they actually like that can be used. Like younger players, maybe can still be enthralled by Sonic 4 and the new Super Mario Brothers. Okay. Mario is one of the most recognized characters in the world.
That's very true. I mean, I know that with the younger generation, they're used to all these systems now, which have very advanced gameplay, very intricate control schemes. I mean, you take a look at the controllers for the PS3 and the 360, you have, a billion buttons on these controllers, and then you get a game like Sonic 4, or New Super Mario, New Super Mario Brothers, you hold the Wiimote like an NES controller. Do you think that sort of simplicity will turn gamers off?
I don't think it will. I don't know how far back your younger generations that you know of, but I got a brother who's 15, so he really didn't start playing video games until like the PlayStation era, so he really hasn't had any experience with like the SNES or the NES generation, and he's just loving playing the simple games. I've seen him play Scott Pilgrim and Super Mario Brothers and all these like simple 2D style games, and just having loads of fun with it, even though you only have the directional pad and the jump button for something as simple as Mario.
Okay. I agree with that. I think, the simple controls are a good thing. I mean, again, for us, it certainly reminds us, of the days when you didn't have 400 buttons on a controller. And, you didn't have to master, you didn't have to, now in these controllers, the joysticks themselves are also buttons. You push down on the joystick and it's, an R3 button for the PlayStation controller. And
yeah, when we were growing up, the most complicated thing we had to remember was the Konami code.
Mm-hmm.
Which Konami still uses, by the way, but
really?
They do. On
They
occasion.
still use it. Other game studios also use it too, which is I find the funniest thing. If you ask someone who's even remotely heard of the gaming industry, you just say the Konami code, and they may just rattle it off right
They're like,
then and
"Oh,
there for
dude, 50 lives, yeah."
You needed them in their games, God.
But I know I read some reviews, reviews of games that have simplistic controls, and that's a turnoff for some. And I go, why? It's less for you to remember.
Game reviewers are a different breed of gamer, though. They have to play everything.
That's true.
That's true.
Like, I can't imagine having to go from Mass Effect to Big Mother Truckers.
It's games like that. I find them to be great. I don't think they hurt the industry. I think by bringing back the 2D games, it's also allowing the younger generations to see, what we grew up with. Back in my day. Well, we've already established that. Although I have.
And if I had to haul my 8-bits up 8 feet of snow both ways.
Yeah.
Uphill, downhill, sideways hill. Never mind.
Although I have to admit, because again, I'm going to date myself, the 2D games we have now are easier than the 2D games that we had because
Yep.
Because we didn't have automatic saving. Hell, we didn't have save points. We had
I
passwords.
have notebooks of passwords.
Yes.
I had a Metroid strategy guide that had all like the majority of the passwords written in there, and I used that thing to death. I never beat the original Metroid, even with that password and that strategy guide. I still never beat it until I had the version for the Metroid Zero mission.
Isn't the new Metroid game Other M a 2D?
It's
Kind of a hybrid, actually.
I could describe my best way to describe it is Devil May Cry, only removed demons and put in space monsters.
The controls generally are two-dimensional, but then you can flip the remote towards the TV, and then you go into a first-person 3D view.
Similar to Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
I mean, I know games. Okay, so something along those lines. That kind of reminds me of Super Paper Mario for the Wii,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
where you can flip back and forth between a 2D and a 3D realm.
And that's pretty cool. I think that's a really neat mechanic so that, depending how you want to play and how you want to overcome a challenge, you have some choices. And I think that really should appeal to kind of a wider audience, and it even that enhances gameplay because you get the choice, you get the what's the momentary strategy element of what's the best way to deal with this given my play style and what I'm good at. And or what do I need to do to get this done? And I think that's a really, really cool way of integrating the two, and I'd like to see more of that.
There was a PSP game, I don't remember the name of it, but essentially it was like a puzzle game, but what you did was, to solve the puzzle, you had to flip between 2D and 3D, and there was like a superfluous flipping of the two.
I think that's a very interesting mechanic as well. And now we have the video game consoles that can do that. You couldn't do that with the older systems.
Right.
Well, the birth of the graphics processing unit as a full 3D accelerator made that very pop. It's pretty much what made it happen.
Well, good. So overall, general consensus, I think we've pretty much agreed that the return to 2D is good, and we hope it continues.
I think that it is a good thing. I think it will complement the selection of 3D games we have, not replace them.
No, it won't replace them. No
Okay,
way.
that'll never happen.
I think it's also good, but I just want to I had like a cautionary thing of like, yeah, it's good, but if people are, if like the studios are just going to start like putting out like a bunch of 2D games and neglecting the 3D games, then I think that might hurt the industry a little bit, because you're essentially going to have like shovelware, and then like as they focus like 10 years on a 3D game, for example, Blizzard with StarCraft 2. It took what 10, 12 years to go from StarCraft to StarCraft 2.
Something like that, yeah.
And the only thing they've made since then is World of Warcraft.
Warcraft 3.
Frozen Throne.
That's okay.
Yeah,
It's got nothing on Duke Nukem Forever. So.
Well, yeah, but they also have. But Blizzard doesn't release a product until it's perfect, and if it's not going to be perfect, they don't release it.
They've shelved games. They've done it twice.
Yes, they are perfectionists like that. But I don't see 2D replacing 3D. I mean, game studios and game companies know their base, and they know that the 3D movement and the 3D games are now here to stay.
You're always going to have gamers demanding that shiny.
Oh yes. Now that we're there, the companies have to play to their customers. So I think it's a nice addition, and I'm glad to see it. So that is that. So any more words on the subject?
The other thing I can think of is that 2D allows independent studios to have a chance to break in.
Oh, yes.
That is a huge thing.
Yeah, That's good.
They don't have the money to hire the big talent, so it allows them to actually create a game on a much lower budget with people who are less experienced.
It also allows the game fans, like your indie developers, also break out into the scene too. Like Angry Birds is like the new hot thing on the market. It was it was made by a studio, but like I don't know how big the studio is. I imagine it's only like probably 5 or 10 people, and they're just making money hand over fist right now.
Hey, World of Goo was created by 2 ex-EA employees working in a coffee shop.
On laptops.
Yes.
There you go. I didn't think of that. That's true. Because there's less involved making a 2D game, it can allow for more experimentation by more independent studios instead of
It's a good thing.
Instead of the big powerhouses like EA and Activision and Square and so on. So, well, good. That was a great point there. So, general consensus: 2D games good for the industry.
Good for the industry.
Good for the industry.
Good for the industry. Excellent. Solved, sealed, delivered. So, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, it is the Nintendo Power Awards. Voting is actually going on now. We will all discuss the games in the different categories, and just for shits and giggles, we'll all make our own predictions and see what happens when the awards do come out, who nails them. On that note, take a break, listen to some music. We'll be right back. Second half of episode 1 of Downloadable Content. Welcome back to the second half of Downloadable Content, Episode 1. We're all here still. We're going to talk more Nintendo. We're going to talk about the Nintendo Awards, Game of the Year Awards, a feature that's in every Nintendo Power. So I'm basically just going to tell you what the categories are and the nominations, and we'll talk about them. And I will take your predictions, and then in a couple of months from now, when they actually do release the awards, we'll see how your predictions stacked up. So I'm going to read them as they are from the magazine, but I'm going to read them in reverse. Because they start off with their Game of the Years first. I'm like, no, I'll save that for last.
Yeah, that's something you save for the last. You start off slow and then build up to a crescendo.
All right. Yes, it's like a good symphony. It's like a very good symphony. And also, by the way, for anyone who is listening or does not get Nintendo Power, the voting is still going on now. You can go to www.nintendopower.com/NPAwards to place your vote for the categories that I will now begin the chat on. We start first with Best Retro Revival. And there were 6 nominees for Best Retro Revival. The nominees for Best Retro Revival are Donkey Kong Country Returns, GoldenEye 007, Mega Man 10, NBA Jam, Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and Sonic 4 Episode 1. I put my money on Sonic 4. Because for me, that was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. You know, going back to what made the series so great without any major additions or anything like that. I mean, I still play the Genesis versions today. I think, and Sonic 4, on a review scale, it got very good reviews. Very good reviews. So I am placing my money on Sonic 4. I haven't played enough yet of GoldenEye, the new GoldenEye, to have an opinion. And Donkey Kong Country Returns, while so far very enjoyable, didn't give me quite the same satisfaction as Sonic 4. So I'm placing my money about that. What say you?
I'm thinking Sonic 4 is probably going to be the winner as well, just because the people remember the rivalry. And there's no Mario on this list.
Yes. Nintendo and Sega
buried that hatchet.
Yeah,
Each other's backs.
Nintendo won that one. Erica, what say you?
I was never a huge fan of Sonic. I know that probably means that I'm a witch and you're going to want to burn me when this is over.
Burn the heretic.
But, so I'm going to have to throw in for Donkey Kong.
Okay. That's fine. Ron?
See, my issue is I've played all these games in one form or another, whether it's like the trial versions or the actual game itself. So, this is actually a really tough one because I think there's at least 3 options here that have equal rights to win. I think Sonic 4 is like, I'm gonna go with Sonic 4 just because Heart Gold and Soul Silver, while good games, I don't think they were they were kind of far away in terms of like the timeline. Like they came out early 2010, whereas Sonic came out in August. So I think that Sonic's still fresh in people's minds.
Okay, so you think the recent release will help Sonic 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, good. We'll move on to Best New Idea. I always love when gaming comes up with something new and innovative and fresh, or improves on an existing trope. But let's see what we have for Best New Idea. The nominees are from the game And Yet It Moves. You can rotate the world at any time and any place. The game Divergent Shift. You can control 2 mirrored characters simultaneously in a platformer. Dragon Quest IX. Downloadable quests and tag mode treasure maps.
How's that a new idea?
Your DS doesn't have to be on per se to get the downloadable quests and tag mode.
Epic Mickey. Use paint and thinner to manipulate your surroundings.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Photo Dojo. Turn photographs into a fighting game.
That's kind of neat too.
And WarioWare DIY. Create and share your own microgames.
Interesting.
I am going to put my money on Epic Mickey simply because, I mean, the sort of paint idea we kind of got in Okami.
Yep.
Yep.
I think Epic Mickey improves on it.
Really? That's Have you actually played it? I haven't had a chance to play it.
I've seen it played, and I think it's really nifty. Where it's like if you try to use, if you make a mistake, you just nope, not anymore.
Oh, now that is cool because improving on Okami, I have the Wii version of Okami, and improving on Okami is a tall order.
Yes, I agree. Ron, we'll start with you.
I think I'm going to go with WarioWare DIY.
Okay.
I just remember that getting like major accolades from like all the reviewers, and just the idea of like you can create like your own little like shoot 'em up game and share it with your friends or do something else with it. I think that like level of customization, even though it's limited to like the Wario style of like combat, I think that sort of like customization is what I think is the best new idea.
Peter.
I think Epic Mickey is where I'm going to put my vote on, because you've got the brand recognition on top of something that is trying to really push a new idea. Maybe not quite as new as, because Okami had done the paint idea before.
Right.
And dominated the world, but I'm looking at, Dragon Quest IX, that doesn't sound downloadable quests. That's not new.
See, I have Dragon Quest IX, and the thing they don't mention is that, say for example, you have your friends, they also have Dragon Quest IX, you can bring your main character over into their game and explore their world with them.
That is true.
Okay.
Now that is neat.
That is kind of neat, yes.
That is new, which is something they don't mention, but while I think that's a really good idea, I don't think that's necessarily the best new idea.
Erica.
I think I'm gonna do the Epic Mickey as well, because the WarioWare create your own content is pretty cool and all. Not all. It's not quite a new idea. Little Big Planet did that, and it did it in a very, very big way. And Little Big Planet 2 just came out, or is just coming out. I think it's out now.
Does it have a Nintendo version now?
Because
this is Nintendo Power Awards.
I'm just saying is that
it's not a Nintendo game.
Yeah, well, even if it isn't, the fact is that there's something else that's has done it and is doing it again and on a much grander scale. So. Right. This game has competition for that, and I think it's a really cool concept, and I like that they're giving players that kind of freedom. But I don't know, it just seems like there might be better forums for it. So
fair enough. Moving on to best story / writing. 6 nominees. First one, Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. Epic Mickey. Fragile Dreams, Farewell Ruins of the Moon. 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. No More Heroes 2, Desperate Struggle. And Professor Layton and the Unwound Future. Ron, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. I remember, this is what I've heard, I heard that it's a really fun game. I also heard that the story in that is actually really cool. I had nothing against like Epic Mickey or Professor Layton or Miles Edgeworth, although I think Phoenix Wright games are really great writing in general.
They are. The Phoenix Wright games and its various spin-offs are known for their good writing, so...
Yeah, I think I will not be surprised if that wins, but I'm going to go with the Shot in the Dark at 9 Hours.
Okay. Erica.
I am with Ron on this one because I know nothing about the writing in any of these, But as soon as you read off the title, I was just like, I'd play that just because the title is cool. I mean, the title itself is good writing, so...
Alright, that's fine. Peter.
I'm feeling more of the Ace Attorney Investigations game. I mean, again, I haven't played any of these. I haven't seen too much of them. But I have heard the Ace Attorney games have excellent writing. So do the Professor Layton games, for that matter, as well.
Yes, very true.
But I'm gonna put down Ace Attorney Investigations for Miles Edgeworth.
Yeah, I'm gonna join you, Peter, there, because again, the Phoenix Wright series has, historically had very good writing, and there we go.
It's the fact that's what the game pretty much rides on, is the writing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Being that it's supposed to play out like a detective, like a mystery. We move on. Best new character. I think they all have 6. No, not all of them have 6 nominees. This one does, though. Best new character, we have Prince Fluff from Kirby's Epic Yarn, Kay from Ace Attorney Investigations, Toppy from Sands of Destruction, Oswald from Epic Mickey, Quote from Cave Story, and Naya from Infinite Space. Start with Erica. All right, while you contemplate that on the Tree of Woe, let's go to Ron.
I'm gonna go with Oswald because I know the history of Oswald and how important he was to cartoons before Mickey.
Well, he was Walt Disney's first character.
Yeah, he was Mickey before Mickey.
And
that's
basically
Oswald.
the reason why I'm choosing Oswald as well. I mean, he might not be new in the sense that, he existed in history before Mickey, but his introduction, he's finally getting some recognition in a video game. So,
yeah.
Peter.
Well, I want to throw in for Nia Loughlin for Infinite Space.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because the game has a really neat concept, even if it was really broken by a really bad interface, or so I've read.
Okay.
Okay, a game like that needs to have, just practically begs, it's going to have some cool new characters.
Fair enough.
The fact that it's a role-playing game, but it's also a space exploration game where you can actually customize your starship. You're not just the hero, but you're also a starship captain on top of that.
Okay, that's certainly good ideas. All right, Erica, back to you.
Just throw a dart at the board and just pick something at random and just go with it, dude. Go with it, girl.
Yeah, dude, girl, whatever, doesn't matter to me. Because it gave me a chuckle, Prince Fluff.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not going to justify it or even attempt to any more than that.
Moving on to Best Multiplayer. 6 nominees in that category. DJ Hero 2, GoldenEye 007, Monster Hunter Tri, NBA Jam, Rock Band 3, and Tatsunoko vs. Capcom Ultimate All-Stars. Peter, we'll go with you.
Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, no question in my mind. It is the late.
Oh, he is standing by it.
Yes, I'm standing by Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Best versus game Capcom has made yet. Great multiplayer. You've seen the Street Fighter. You've seen Marvel vs. Capcom. It's just like that. Only now we got some really cool anime characters from Tatsunoko side. Maybe you haven't seen it before. Maybe you have. Chances are you probably haven't. Doesn't matter. Wikipedia's out there to explain it all. And it's just a wonderful game a wonderful fighting game.
Alrighty, Erica.
I suck at 2D fighters. Always have, probably always will, but I gotta go with Peter on this one. It's an absolutely amazing game. And I can just, it's almost a multiplayer experience just to sit on the couch and watch this boy play because it's just that entertaining.
Fair enough. Ron.
All right, this one was another tough one. Again, like in Retro Revival, I think it's between GoldenEye, Tatsunoko, and Monster Hunter Tri. GoldenEye I'm gonna go with GoldenEye because how many of us remember playing GoldenEye with like paintball mode or golden guns or big head mode and get enabled?
Oh, yes. That was what basically redefined the multiplayer genre, that game.
Yeah. I mean, GoldenEye in and of itself is what made first-person shooters what they are, I think, today.
That's definitely, you know, a genre changer right there. So, and again, I'm also going to stick with GoldenEye. So 2-2 for that category. 2-2 for that category. Move on to Best Puzzle Game. 6 nominees: Bejeweled Twist, Picross 3D, Professor Layton and the Unwound Future, Super Scribblenauts, Tetris Party Deluxe, and Through Space. Ron, we'll start with you.
I think this might be the first consensus. I'm just gonna say Professor Layton and just end it right there. I mean, it's Professor Layton. How much further do I have to explain?
I agree. Erica.
I am unfamiliar with most of these. I mean, Tetris is always a good standby for any puzzle games, but I have heard phenomenal things about Scribblenauts.
Okay, as have I.
So I'm gonna go with that.
Peter.
I'm going for Professor Layton just because Level 5 Studios is made of wind and awesome.
And I'm going to add one further point to why I'm choosing Professor Layton. April actually wants to play this game. So...
Wow, okay.
When my wife, the non-gamer, wants me to buy this game so she can steal my DS and play it,
that says something.
That says something right there. So, end of story. Best Platformer. Ooh. 5 nominees here. Donkey Kong Country Returns, Kirby's Epic Yarn, Sonic Colors, Sonic 4, Super Mario Galaxy 2. Erica. Peter.
I'm thinking about that. There's a couple of really good choices here.
I'm going to go with Mario Galaxy 2 just because of the sheer number of accolades that game had won, just universally.
Agreed. I also enjoyed first Mario Galaxy immensely. Not just for its platforming, because, I mean, yes, it does remind me a lot of Mario 64, but it also has a full orchestral score.
Damn, that's cool.
It has a full orchestral score. There was a soundtrack for this game. Ron.
I'm gonna go Super Mario Galaxy 2, mainly because it's Mario. I think the only thing that has a chance up against it is Sonic Sonic 4.
I'll try to revitalize the old rivalry.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of a skew here, considering that Sonic's got 2 entries in this category.
And I think Super Mario Galaxy is gonna curb stomp both of them.
Don't hold back, Ron. Just tell us how you feel.
Erica.
For me, it was really a toss-up between Super Mario Galaxy 2 and DK, but yeah, I remember hearing how. I mean, I played a little bit of the original Mario Galaxy, and it was really good. So I think we've got a consensus on this one.
We do. We have our first consensus. Mario Galaxy 2. Excellent. Best Action Game. 6 categories. 6 nominees. Chronos Twins, Dark Void Zero, Mega Man 10, No More Heroes 2, Sin and Punishment, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Ron, we'll start with you.
Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. I'm a fan of fighting games, and I own Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. I enjoyed playing it. It's definitely, I agree with Peter, in that it probably is the best versus Capcom game out there until 3 comes out.
Okay. Peter. I have a good idea what you're going to pick, but go ahead anyway.
Capcom, all the way.
He is standing by his man.
That is one of the most amazing Wii games I've ever played.
Erica?
I'm gonna actually have to go with Sin and Punishment on this one. I got to play a little bit of it at a demo station. I'd really like to pick it up. And the only reason I don't go with Tatsunoko is because, like I said, I absolutely suck at 2D fighters. But Sin and Punishment, I can actually play.
I will have to say, Sin and Punishment is a very good game.
Okay. It's going to be another 3-1. I think Tatsunoko versus Capcom will also get the gold here. So, and I'll just be repeating what you guys said. Best sports game. Best sports game. 4 nominees for this category.
Sports games in last year.
FIFA Soccer 11, Madden NFL 11, NBA Jam, Tiger Woods PGA Tour 11. I will open the bidding here. I think Madden, just because of its sheer popularity. That's really it. I mean, I've played none of these games, but I think Madden, again, because of its sheer popularity and its staying power. So, Ron?
I'm gonna go with NBA Jam. Mainly because NBA Jam is a fun game. It is not as in-depth as what Madden usually requires, although I will not be surprised in the slightest if Madden wins.
Peter?
Yeah, I'm with Ron on this one. Madden's probably going to win this, but of these 4, my favorite pick would be NBA Jam. I do not particularly care for pure sports games, but NBA Jam, it puts enough arcade action into it to make it a lot more fun.
Okay, fair enough. Good point there. Erica?
Very much agreeing with Peter and Ron on the popularity of the Madden franchise. However, I'll go with the soccer game just because of the sports on that list. Soccer is the only one I actually give a crap about.
All right, individuality. Excellent. Now here's a category worth talking about. Best RPG. Best RPG, 6 in this category. Dragon Quest IX, Etrian Odyssey 3, Golden Sun Dark Dawn, Infinite Space, Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and Shin Megami Tensei. I think I pronounced that right.
Shin Megami Tensei game made the list, huh?
Yes. Let's start with you, Peter.
I really, really wish I could give a vote for Infinite Space, but from what I've read, the interface was so horrible, make the game very difficult to play, and bad interface can ruin a game. So I'm actually going to throw my vote in with Dragon Quest IX.
Ooh, okay.
I've heard Etrian Odyssey really wasn't very good. Golden Sun, I don't know much about. I'm not a Pokemon fan, and Shin Megami Tensei games are usually pretty good, but they're also very niche. I think Dragon Quest probably has the most appeal of all of these.
Okay. Erica?
I absolutely love the theme of Megaten, though, so I'm going to have to throw in with that.
She refers to Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah, I figured that as much. She's speaking code. Ron?
Alright, I'm gonna go with Pokemon.
Okay.
Mainly because it's Pokemon. I played Dragon Quest IX. I'm a fan of the Mega 10 series. I love Golden Sun, like the series itself, but I think just the name of Pokemon is gonna have it win this.
I'm gonna go with Dragon Quest IX. I've always been a fan of the Dragon Quest series, and the things that you can do in Dragon Quest IX, they kind of brought back the job class system in this, and yay. Best Music Rhythm Game. 5 in this category. Beat City, DJ Hero 2, Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, Michael Jackson The Experience. Why? And
I know.
Rock Band 3. Peter, let's start with you.
Michael Jackson is definitely out. Sorry. I've heard so much how much those games really sucked. I don't even surprised it's even on this list. I'm going to throw in Rock Band 3.
Yeah, ditto.
I second the ditto.
All right.
I'm actually gonna throw in for DJ Hero 2.
Okay.
It's got from what I've seen of it, a slightly more simplistic control scheme, and just seems like it would be a little easier for those of us who can't tell our right from our left, let alone which fingers are doing what, to pick up on.
Okay. That's fine. Good ideas all around. Best shooter. 4 in this category. Bit Trip Fate, Call of Duty Black Ops, GoldenEye 007, Red Steel 2. Ron, let's start with you.
GoldenEye.
Of course. Of course. I'm going to agree because that classic. I have to. Erica.
I'm not a fan of Call of Duty, and I've actually never played the GoldenEye. I know that makes me some sort of heretic. Red Steel, however, I have played, and I really, really enjoy.
So you're going to go with that. Typity. Peter.
Well, my expectation is either GoldenEye or Call of Duty will win this. But my vote goes for Red Steel because it's not just shooting. You are like some kind of like this ninja cowboy like thing. It sounds kind of strange, but you have a gun, you have a sword, and you use the Wii Motion Plus to actually interact between the two just so well. It's really a better kind of game, I think, than just plain old shooting.
Okay. Innovative and good idea. Good point there. We move on to Best Adventure Game. 6 in this category. Cave Story, Epic Mickey, Metroid Other M, Monster Hunter Tri, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, and Shantai Risky's Revenge. Peter.
Metroid Other M. First of all, I'm a big Metroid fan, and I have seen some Metroid out of one of those demo stations, and I was really impressed. Team Ninja working with Nintendo on this one. They did an excellent job.
I'm actually going to throw in for Cave Story because I've heard that is simply amazing.
Okay. Ron.
I'm going to go with Monster Hunter Tri. Mainly because it's an adventure game, but you also can go online and play with friends. And I think that multiplayer is going to bump it just above Metroid.
Okay. I'm going to go with Metroid. It's a classic franchise. And, very well known, so I'm going to, plug my vote in for that. We move on to Best Voice Acting. 6 nominees. Call of Duty Black Ops, Epic Mickey, GoldenEye, Guilty Party, NBA Jam, and Professor Layton in the Unwound Future. Ron.
I'm gonna go with Call of Duty, mainly because of the Call of Duty name. I have not played any of these games, so I don't really know.
So it's a shot in the dark for you.
Yeah, basically shot in the dark.
Erica.
Well, Call of Duty games are big multiplayer. I think it's bigger outside the Nintendo scene than it is inside. But it's best if you haven't played any of them. That's all you can do: shoot, throw a dart.
Erica, what say you?
I'm gonna throw in for Epic Mickey, because seriously, if there's one company that can get a hold of good voice actors, it's Disney.
Very true.
That's very true. That's very true. Peter.
I'm going to throw in Professor Layton just because I like what the work previous Level 5 made games, so it would have been pretty good.
Unless it was intentionally bad.
All right, well, this is going to be the first category that nobody agrees with each other. I'm going GoldenEye because of the 6 games here, GoldenEye is the only one I played, and they used the movie cast. To use with one exception. Pierce Brosnan, they replaced his likeness with Daniel Craig, so the current Bond. But all the other voice actors for GoldenEye from the movie were in this game. So that is who I'm going with. We move on to the best original score. 6 here. Ark Rise Fantasia, Donkey Kong Country Returns, Epic Mickey, Final Fantasy The Four Heroes of Light, Sonic Colors, Super Mario Galaxy 2. We'll start with Peter.
I'm definitely not going for Final Fantasy. The guy who did that score is not Uematsu. I'm surprised the game even made the list. I guess I'm going to throw in for Donkey Kong Country Returns. I've heard the soundtrack on the original, which was absolutely fantastic.
Yes, they do incorporate a lot of the classic Donkey Kong Country themes into this game.
Most games that convinced me that was just... You can convince anyone that game music is a real art form.
I agree. Erica.
I'm gonna go with Peter on this one. I haven't, of all the ones there, the only other one I think that could possibly compete is probably, like you said, Super Mario Galaxy actually has an orchestral score.
Yes, it does.
So that probably is epic as well. But I mean, there's just something feel good about a Donkey Kong Country soundtrack. There just really is.
Ron.
I'm gonna go with Donkey Kong as well. I like the soundtrack of the original Donkey Kong Country, and if they've updated it to today, I think it'll beat out Mario Galaxy.
Well, you three are in agreement. I'm going to go with Mario Galaxy 2 again because, again, it's a fully orchestrated score, and the first game also boasted a great soundtrack as well, so that is who I am going with. 6 more categories to go. We go to Best DS Graphics. Your 6 nominees are Dementium 2, Dragon Quest IX, Final Fantasy IV Heroes of Light, Golden Sun Dark Dawn, Shantae Risky's Revenge, and Sonic Colors. We'll start with Ron.
I'm going to go with Dragon Quest IX. I think the graphics are colorful, but simple enough that it's that bright, colorful sort of Nintendo style.
It
I
is.
think.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, I think that's what's gonna edge it out over Golden Sun.
I agree, and it's for those reasons that I'm also joining you as well in Dragon Quest IX. Erica.
I did see some screenshots for Golden Sun, but I know that I do generally like the art style of the Dragon Quest series, so I'll probably throw in for that one as well.
Peter.
Of the ones I've seen, I think Dragon Quest IX has the best art style.
Another full consensus. Excellent. Best Wii Graphics. Your 6 nominees: Donkey Kong Country Returns, GoldenEye, Kirby's Epic Yarn, Monster Hunter Tri-Sonic Colors, and Mario Galaxy 2. Erica, we'll start with you.
Probably have to go with the Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Okay. Ron?
If Super Mario Galaxy wasn't on the list, I would go with Monster Hunter Tri, but I'm going to go with Mario Galaxy because it's Mario.
It's fucking Mario. I agree wholeheartedly. Peter?
After accolades, after accolades, after accolades, Mario Galaxy 2, I think, would be the clear winner here.
Excellent, excellent. Another consensus. Now we get to our nitty-gritty. We get to our games of the year. We start with Game of the Year DSiWare. So what DSiWare game boasted the best graphics? Your nominees are Cave Story, Chronos Twins, Dark Void Zero, Divergent Shift, Photo Dojo, and Shantae Risky's Revenge. We'll start with Peter.
I'm just going to throw in for Shantae Risky's Revenge because the name sounds cool.
Fair enough. Erica.
I'm gonna throw in for Cave Story again because I've just heard amazing things about this game. I've actually got a demo downloaded on my PC that I'm going to go play when we're done here, so.
Ron.
I will throw one out at Chronos Twins because it sounds cool.
It's another one that just sounds cool.
Yeah, if I had to throw a dart at the board, if I had never seen any of these, that would probably been the way I would have gone to, Ron.
I'm going to go with Erica because, again, I've heard a lot of good things about Cave Story. And I also am not in possession of a DSi. I still have first-generation DS, so, yeah, I know. I'm really old now. Game of the Year, Beware. 6 nominees here. And Yet It Moves, Blaster Master Overdrive, Cave Story, Fluidity, Mega Man 10, Sonic 4. Ron.
Sonic 4.
Oh yeah, that for me is a hands down Sonic 4. Have you seen it?
I've played it.
Peter.
I'm going to go with Sonic 4 as well.
Erica.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that as well. I don't think the others have a chance, a snowball's chance in hell of beating that one, even though I don't particularly care for Sonic games.
Considering how long we've waited for this game. Civilizations have come and gone. The Red Sox finally won the World Series. And
The White Sox won.
Sonic 4. Game of the Year DS. Dragon Quest IX, 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Professor Layton, Super Scribblenauts, WarioWare DIY. Ron.
I'm going to go with Professor Layton.
Okay. Sounds good. Peter.
Professor Layton.
Professor Layton. Erica.
I'm gonna throw in for Layton as well. Even though I've never touched it.
Professor Layton, okay. Oh, dum-de-dum-de-dum. We come to Game of the Year Wii.
What'd you pick?
What,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, duh. Dragon Quest IX.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, either way, level 5 is the consensus.
Being a level.
Game of the Year for Game of the Year for the Wii. 6 nominees for Game of the Year Wii. Donkey Kong Country Returns, Kirby's Epic Yarn, Metroid Other M, NBA Jam, Sonic Colors, Mario Galaxy 2.
Oh.
I'm going to say Mario Galaxy 2, because while Donkey Kong Country Returns is great, Mario Galaxy 2 is greater. Peter.
My heart wants to go for Metroid Other M, but I know that it is how hard it is for any game to get universal accolades the way Mario Galaxy 2 got. So I'm actually going to throw my vote as Mario Galaxy 2.
Okay. Ron.
I'm not even going to pick who it is. I'm going to pick how the layout is going to be. Number 6 is NBA Jam. 5 Sonic Colors. 4 is Kirby. 3 is Donkey Kong. 2 is Metroid, and 1 is Sonic.
You're going Sonic Colors for the win.
No, Sonic is 6. Sonic's 5. Super Mario is number 1.
Mario Galaxy 2. Okay. Erica.
God, you're right. This is just a miserable pool to pick from, in terms of trying to predict a winner. But I think again, Super Mario Galaxy 2 is going to grab it.
Okay. Which brings us to our final category. Overall Game of the Year. So this is on the online ballot, and we've got a bucket load of nominees here.
20?
I'm not going to read them all. There's at least 20 here. I'm going to go overall Game of the Year. I'm going Mario Galaxy. Ron, what about you?
I agree. It's probably going to be Mario Galaxy. Just for an example for the listeners of what we get to choose from, we had to choose from Donkey Kong, Dragon Quest IX, Epic Mickey, Metroid,
All the games
Sonic
we've announced
4,
so far, yeah.
Sonic 4, Sonic Colors, Super Scribble Nuts. I mean, Professor Layton, Pokemon's on here too. Those are all top contenders. Those all could deserve overall Game of the Year. But I'm gonna go with Super Mario because of the fact that it's Mario.
Peter.
These are all great games, probably. But when I see a game get universal accolades, I don't ignore it. So I gotta go Mario Galaxy 2.
Erica.
Likewise.
So we're all in consensus that Mario Galaxy 2 is going to take overall Game of the Year. So that is going to be interesting. And we're going to find out the winners of these awards in March, and we'll see how our predictions stacked up to the actual awards. So, and that is it. That is going to end our first episode of downloadable content. On our next episode, we are going to spend the episode talking about the evolutions of video game franchises. Video game franchises that we've all known and loved. Some have been around for generations. Some are newcomers. So we will talk about, what makes them great, what's helped them to become great. Does new technology help? Do you think as the series gets more and more entries, do you think that the quality of the series suffers? We'll be bringing a bunch of stuff up as we talk about, popular franchises like Mario, Final Fantasy, and even, ones that are relatively new to the table like, say, Halo. So I'd like to thank Erica, Peter, and Ron for joining me on this first episode of Downloadable Content. Hope you enjoyed it. I'd like to hear some feedback. See you around.